Hello everyone, and welcome to round 3 of the Shrimp Fried Rice v LIMOS game here. Shrimp Fried Rice with an excellent performance on Blood Moon last time, taking it to 1-1. We were on Yukon for the tiebreaker here, as the teams have once again swapped. Team 1 is Shrimp Fried Rice on ANS. We have Firestorm, the Spy Eye, Mouse, and Noek. Team 2 is LIMOS on OSP. We have Snipes, Xenophon, Puppy, and Hunter. Yukon... I love Yukon so much. This big wall that divides the two sides leads to some really interesting deployment and strategies here. Looks like both teams starting to deploy here. ANS deploying very heavily on, looks like Seaside here and also mid-A, potentially. OSP surprisingly deploying pretty low on Yukon. Normally you see them deploy high and go C, but it looks like we have a lot of things here looking to go for A. Various, I'm assuming, smaller assets on each side going on the BD side here for cap plays. But yeah, most are deployed already. Yeah, here we go. Round 3, the tiebreaker. It looks like we have, is this a triple voxel fleet? Looks like it. I believe this is, no, it's not Noix. We'll go through the fleets in just a moment here. Oh, yep, it is a triple voxel fleet brought by Firestorm here. 3 gun voxels here with VLS-2 on the back of one of them, two of them, and a comms jammer on the third. They are running standard drive, just the FM500, regular reactor. I'm seeing, Spyglass on one of them. That is a Parallax on that one, and a Frontline on the last one. Alright, so they're all slightly different here. Mouse has the 450 Expert here with an S3 backpack. Let's see what we have here. Bunch of S3Hs, all called Acello removers, and 6 torpedoes. Alright. Looks like they are not happy with what happened last match, or the first match on Bulwark, with the Acellos destroying most of the missiles. Noek has... Is this a double pit boss? Oh my god, this is a double pit boss. Look at this. 2 pit bosses from Noek as, looks like they're bringing the cap fleet here. 2 pit bosses and 3 cringe cappers, I think? Yeah, 3 empty cap sprinters. 2 pit bosses for cap denial. Very interesting. Firestorm realizing that they forgot, or not Firestorm, Noek forgetting that they forgot to swap their badge to the team colors. Very unfortunate. Spy running, looks like 4 dispersed beam keystones. Yep, 4 dispersed beam keystones at the various cap points. One of them to deny A, one of them to deny C, one of them to deny B, and the last is just over here by the voxels. So it looks like not a lot of frontline on ANS here, as most of their stuff is like cap denial and anti-light ship, like the voxels and the pit bosses. The only really frontline they have is this one Axford. We will see how that works for them. On to LIMOS. Hunter has a 250 100 mil broadside liner. Interesting. Looks like they have 2 of them. Looks like for cap denial and anti-light ship work. Looks like they're bringing a half cap as well. It looks like a couple... Not MMTs. These are more these, like, gun tug things that we saw in the first round. Very interesting design. It's like bringing 5 of them? Yeah, 5 of them, and then 2 gun shuttle cappers. Okay. Puppy with the double cello here. I recognize these names. These names are suspiciously similar to, Flynn's names for this exact fleet. Raider drives, parallaxes in both of these. Bullseye on the back, interruption on the bottom, yeah. I'm wondering if someone stole a fleet from someone here. Oh, those were Xeno ships, not yours, Flynn. Okay, well, Flynn stole the ships then. Snipes as a fleet carrier. This is the first carrier we've seen all game today, as this is the first round that anyone's brought one. Snipes already has 2 squadrons of 7 Barracudas up. Looks like they are both R1 rocket pod strikes for cap denial. And Xenophon has the bricks. Looks like a pincer brick here with a jamming shuttle in the middle here. Very nice. The bricks deploying with the Ocellos here. The Ocellos will provide jamming support and point defense fire for the bricks. OSP doing an early rush onto the C point here as we have a gun tug here, supported by this R1 rocket strike. It looks like they're going to try and step onto the point here, although the pit bosses are already in position to make sure that that doesn't happen. Hunter flanking a liner around the side here, going to B point. No one really heading for A. There is a tug in the area that could potentially go for it, although it looks like both teams electing to deny the A point instead of trying to cap it. Shots out as the Vox will start firing on a decoy here. LIMOS probably fully identifying that ANS has a triple voxel fleet by the amount of RPF going downrange into the decoy. Although it is a line ship decoy and ANS is firing RPF, so perhaps they know that it's a decoy and are trying to get rid of it. I do not think RPF... Is RPF still bugged against decoys? Container decoys? Not entirely sure. I thought I heard someone say that RPF didn't really work against container decoys. Flanker squadron here looks like it's trying to get around. It finds the beamstone here. Flak coming out from the beamstone here as Flanker Squadron flies into the point defense range of this keystone. That flak is going to chew up these Barracudas if they're not careful. R1 rockets out. These will hit, although they will not do enough damage to take out this keystone here. The only thing they can do is red components here. Flanker Squadron losing a couple of craft here as they do their strike at very close range. Looks like they are hard burning to get out of there. Cheetah Squadron finds the capper on the B point here. Looks like they went all the way around the map to do this strike. R1 strikes against sprinters will kill the sprinters, especially if they are so skeletal like this one. RPF fire from the pit boss attempting to save it, but unfortunately that strike will go through as this cringe capper... Yep, that cringe capper goes down there, losing the CIC. Hunter has found the pit boss, firing 250 AP into it. Although if this pit boss manages to bow tank to this liner, I do not think this liner has enough to deal with the 250 firepower that this pit boss has. Axford armor is quite impressive against 250 fire. Cheetah looks like it held a lot of their rockets. Tries to get a strike on this other keystone here. Unfortunately, the flak is too much as Cheetah's squadron strike is intercepted. Squadron of 14, these aren't even anti-craft. A squadron of 14 Barracudas here, coming over the top here at C. These are armed exclusively with 35mm guns, flechette and jam pods. Not entirely sure what the strat is here. There are a lot of them, though. An identical squadron loaded out with KBU-22s has deployed as well from the carrier. These are KBU rockets, though. Hang on. Looks like, yeah, that's a lot of rockets and a lot of 35 flechette being deployed here, potentially against either the pit boss or the keystones that have been identified previously by other strikes. RPF and SDM's very effective against these this strike here, as a lot of them get shot down. The Voxels have found the bulk of OSP's frontline, and they are not happy. Voxels do not like this fight here, as it looks like they're trying to dive behind cover here before they get picked apart. One of the Voxels already losing its magazine and taking massive damage as they try to get behind the rock to avoid getting annihilated here by this Ocello monitor ball. Another squadron of 14 of these rocket bomb strikes out from the carrier here, as the first one still moving into attack position. Going up towards the C point, looks like they're probably going to try and get a strike on the pit boss. Pit boss on B point. Looks like it is backing up from the liner. Perhaps not wanting to take the fight right now, or perhaps trying to bait the liner into a closer range engagement. These voxels here take quite a bit of damage here in a fight that they do not want to do. Oh, that being said, there's not a whole lot between them and the carrier here. Carrier smartly electing to move upwards here into cover. Looks like these voxels are fairly open to move on to the E point here. OSP does secure the A point with this tugboat here. And us unable to deny it even with this beamstone here. Hello, Neko. It seems like your matches have finished out. Welcome, everyone. We are on round 3 of the Shrimp Fried Rice versus LIMOS game here on Yukon. Juggler Squadron just about to crest this rock. I'm assuming they're trying to go for this pit boss here. The pit boss looks like it's trying to get behind cover here. I do not know if Juggler Squadron has been detected yet. They could know that those are there, although they might not. We will see. The pit boss entirely abandoning the B point here, despite being able to hold it against what Hunter has. Very interesting play here. Although the Keystone is still in position to deny the B point from being capped. Juggler Squadron crests the ridge here. They are detected on radar. They are diving on one of the Axfords, I would assume here. Diving on the pit boss, I believe, is what they're going for. This pit boss has very minimal point defense. If these ships get their bombs out, there's not a whole lot to shoot down those bombs. RPF coming out to try and suppress the strike, although I do not think it's going to be enough damage to really stop the strike. Yeah, as the strike goes in, they are in combat mode. The R1 rockets are not going to do a lot of damage to this Axford, although those bombs will. This Axford needs to start maneuvering, or those bombs are just going to obliterate it. R1 rocket strike goes in, stripping the armor on one side, not really doing a whole lot of damage, but those bombs... But the squadron doesn't... Oh, nope, the squadron is going in for the bombs. I see it. SDM's out to try and deny the bombs, although the bombs are already out. Pit boss takes a couple bomb hits. 3 restores, can change DC with the large. Yeah, the pit boss is still in the fight, although it takes quite a bit of damage. Eyeball Squadron, the other R1 KBU strike, is just kind of loitering at the center of the map here, perhaps waiting for a target to present itself. The monitors and Acellos was correctly guessing that the voxels are going to move on E point, intercepting these voxels at close range on the E point. These voxels are broadside onto the massive frontline fleet here. These voxels are not in a good position here. They do not have the drives to get out of here. That is a very unfortunate position to be in. As the plasma starts going out, the 450 is going to start coming out here from the Acellos as this massive frontline ball is just going to collapse on this this voxel fleet and just take it out of the fight entirely. Unfortunate here. Very, very excellent anticipation from LIMOS here, anticipating that these voxels would go to the E point, intercepting them before they get there. B point still in the hands of ANS, as looks like Hunter is not electing to try and move on to it yet. RPF fire from the pit boss, trying to take out this halberd that's spotting it. As yeah, you can already see these voxels are going to fold incredibly quickly. At this close range, there's not a whole lot these voxels can do. They are getting some fire into the Acellos here, although it's not enough damage to really matter, as this entire voxel fleet's just going to get cleaned up by the monitor Acello ball here. Two more R1 bomb strikes out from the carrier here. Claw Squadron and Ruby Squadron are heading towards the C point. It looks like they're probably going to try and finish up the pit boss here and allow... Yeah, Hunter's already moving his gun tug onto the point here. We're going to try and take it for OSP here. Highball has finally committed to a target, diving on the other pit boss. Both these pit bosses have pretty much no point defense. They will not be able to survive this strike. They have nothing to shoot it down. Training fire with this liner here, although all the liner has to do is wait until Highball Squadron gets its strike off, and then it can just pick it off once it's crippled. A point is being secured by ANS here as they move a cringe capper onto the point here. Oh, that being said, C point is going into the hands of OSP here, so they will maintain their 3 cap. The Beamstone in position to deny the C cap. Getting shot by the my Hunter's really well-positioned liner here. Claw Squadron is flanking over the rock here. Looks like they're going to try and take out the Keystone. You know, our Ruby Squadron is loitering here, waiting for the pit boss to show itself. There goes the strike into the pit boss here as it takes massive damage from the KBU bombs. Its core is completely gutted. It can chain restore with the large DC lockers, although... It still has its magazine, it still has its guns, it's able to deny the points. The tug, perhaps thinking that the ship is crippled, starts to step onto the B point here. Oh, more bombs out on the pit boss here. That takes out the magazine. So yeah, now it is very safe for this tugboat to move on to the point here. There is a beam keystone in the area. However, this liner, if it's in position to do so, will be able to just pick apart the keystone with its 250 and 100 mil. Claw Squadron cresting the rock here, committing onto this keystone here. Looks like they're probably going to try and red out the reactor or drive or something to knock out the beam temporarily. Yep, there goes the reactor. Not enough power to power the beam. They will not be able to fire the beam until that gets repaired, although OSP's not going to let them get it repaired as the liner pokes around the corner and puts a 250 salvo into the keystone here. There come the bombs, and that is a dead keystone. The voxels on E point just completely obliterated here by the frontline ball. The monitors and the cellos doing their jobs, ambushing the ships that they want to, just completely removing an entire fleet from ANS here. As ANS looks like they're running out of assets really quickly here. Mouse's 450 Axford being pushed way far into the back of the map, unable to do really much of anything here. It is trying to engage the frontline ball here, although it is completely outnumbered. It will not be winning this fight. A point looks like it will go back into the hands of OSP as the gun tug here takes on this cringe capper. The enemy is securing zone common. C being resecured by ANS, although those bombs might ensure... Yep, those bombs completely kill this pit boss here as that's one pit boss down as C is secured for OSP. OSP also takes the B point here, the liner doing exactly what I said it would, making sure that this beam keystone does not kill the ship capping the point, as this liner will be able to just finish off this keystone here. This pit boss still completely gutted, not restoring the magazine or anything. This Axford will not be able to contest with that liner. S3 HEKP strike out on, looks like it's out on the monitors here. Ruby Squadron completely obliterating the frigate escort for this Axford here. And it does get hits into the Axford too, as the bottom side of the Axford is completely missing. Reinforced mag, gun, large DC lockers. Yeah, this Axford is really injured now. Snipes' fleet carrier just able to just neuter priority targets. And the Acellos clean up the S3Hs very nicely, defending the Axfords from strikes. Claw Squadron gets another rocket strike into this, another Keystone here, writing out the reactor, making sure that that beam does not have the power it needs to come back online, as Hunter's liner making sure that this Keystone does not get back into the fight. A point being secured by OSP. That will be a 5 cap here, as OSP's front line is just free to push. ANS does not have the front line it needs to stop this. Both pit bosses are pretty crippled. Their one frontline Axford is already just pretty much mission killed here. The various scattered beamstones are in really rough shape. Look at C point. Oh. One of the pit bosses detonating on a full squadron of 14 Barracudas, completely obliterating all of them. That squadron is not making it back home to the carrier at all. Although at this point, I think that's probably too little too late. As, yeah, this poor Axford here drives down. Its bottom side just completely gutted. This Axford is not going to be in the fight much longer. Containers out on this, this Sprinter here. Act Hodge, completely seduced by the chaff. They do not hit, although the Sprinter will not survive much longer. The Axford has managed to rebuild its magazine and its guns, and is, I'm assuming, trying to trade fire with the liner here. Although, no, I think its radar panels are all gone. Yeah, the radar panels on this pit boss are just completely annihilated. They do not see this the liner at all. Act Hodge also getting seduced by, I'm assuming, the chaff. I do not know where those went. Keystone here taking another massive R1 salvo, as Wasp is going to follow up with the bomb strike and make sure that that Keystone never comes back up. Meanwhile, in the background, this Axford is just getting completely obliterated by the front line. Poor Keystone. The Axford here has managed to spot this this liner on visual track, is starting to trade fire with it, although with how damaged this Axford is, I do not imagine it being able to win this fight at all. And with a 5 cap, OSP is just gonna run out the clock here, and I don't think ANS has only managed to get 1 kill this entire round. That is rough. A beam does go out into Hunter's liner here, although it misses. The beam flies off course. This Keystone already pretty damaged, unable to battle short. Beam does go into the drive section of this this liner here. Grays out the the Chi 9100, the long haul, but the Sundrive stays up somehow. Very, very interesting. Frontline, though, is right on top of this Keystone here, and yeah, the frontline is just going to finish off this Keystone here as it finishes off this Axford. The Axford is just an aux steering and a drive left. Yeah, that Axford is not living much longer. Night Squadron, which a bunch of KBU bombs, is en route to this Axford, looking probably to finish it off. And yeah, there come the surrenders from ANS here as LIMOS wins the game. They move on 2-1, as unfortunately Shrimp Fried Rice gets knocked out of the tournament here. So yeah, all that ANS has left is this this pit boss over here, which not surrendering, but it's not long for this world. Reactor detonation on the Axford. Yeah, this liner's definitely going to be able to clean it up now. This Axford has no armor left. That 100 mil and 250 is just going to pin right through the armor. This pit boss, nothing really but a CIC, a magazine, and some guns. And there goes the surrender, making it official. Limos will move on in the tournament, and unfortunately for Shrimp Fried Rice, they are knocked out of the tournament here. Although they did have a quite an impressive performance all 3 games. And yeah, we will. We are already in the event stage, so we will wait for the teams to find their way here for the post-match discussion.
Well, that was the game. The video game, it was played, and all that good stuff. We'll get all the players up here. They can give their thoughts. Let's see. Waiting on Xenophon to accept the stage invite. There we are. That is everyone, I believe. Yes, it is. Take it away, Scapegoat, if you wish.
Yeah, 3 matches, 3 rounds. Very, very good. Congratulations to Limos for their impressive performance, moving on in the tournament. Yeah, as we can start with the first match, talk about what happened. Who had the Acellos, the first match again on Bulwark? I think that was Snipes had the Plasma one, and yeah, you had the other one. Very excellent positioning with those Acellos there. They just completely denied ANS's missile fleet that first round there with the hard kill and soft kill combo there. Very, very nice. The push under the map too, or at least low on Bulwark from your front line was also very nice. You were able to pick off a lot of ANS's cap assets with the push and just pounced on ANS's front line when you had the chance there. No one wants to add anything. Wow, okay.
I'm expecting any of the players to chirp
in
there.
You guys
none of them want to talk.
I was expecting like questions or something, you know. But yeah.
Can you repeat the question?
There was. I don't think there was a question.
Scapegoat, you gotta pose some questions.
Oh fuck! I gotta put some questions. I don't know. Like, you guys can say things.
What happened on the first game again?
The first game, ANS was bled of cap assets like pretty quickly into the round, and their front line kind of tried to overextend. I think they were trying to push into Xenophon's 450 liner, and they pushed way too far and just got crossfired by the.
I tried to tell them to go back, but communication was not smooth that round.
It happens.
Yeah. What happened both in that game and the first one was the ANS cap fleet, but that one and the second one was the ANS cap fleet just overextended and died immediately. And that basically meant that ANS had no map control.
Right.
And I had my first ever crash. That was wonderful.
So yeah, like Bulwark, we chose to go low as well because I think that pushing low is something that a lot of people don't do, and we were trying to do that on Blood Moon as well, but we just had a lot of issues on Blood Moon that resulted in that loss. And Like on Bulwark, it worked out really well because there weren't enough sensor assets down low to contest, like, be able to respond correctly to our ships. And then, like, having the CCs next to the LN triplet prevented the missiles from doing anything serious.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of
ANS
stuff
is-
happened in the first moments of the match, so I forgot to look at my fucking 5 rig, and it just got 450 to... It was already getting 450 when I noticed that it was spotted. Just... everything happened at once there.
Right. No, yeah,
I
pushing...
feel like we probably could have won... We probably could have done some matches a bit better. I don't know, Austral just randomly sent me a fleet too for right before match 3, and I wish I hadn't taken that because I don't like pit boss, and I absolutely do not like 2.
Yeah, the 2 pit bosses was definitely
Double pit boss is good, but I think that, like, the problem, this is sort of what we were talking about before. Like, we had this issue with second game as well, like, where it's like, as ANS, I very much have a hard time knowing what a good comp is for ANS sometimes without it being like a really all-in sort of something that you can reliably play. Like, their standard builds are quite difficult to counter all-in builds from OSP. So, like, having 2 pit bosses is good sometimes. It's just that if you don't have something that can remove assets from OSP really quickly, like having 5 450 CHs to shoot 1 liner and just basically 2 salvo it, you know, like, you need to be able to take decisive engagements as ANS, whilst as OSP you just want to drag the game out because you have so many more hulls. Like, you can afford to take attrition a lot more, which is why I think hybrids are, like, very, very important for ANS right now, assuming you actually, like, don't miss with 60% of them.
Yeah, there were a lot of missed missiles in that second.
On the topic,
I don't think we had any miss-up players. We don't have any miss-up players on our team.
On the topic of those hybrids, the reason why those Heckbees got through is because I was de-authing my missiles because they kept firing when they didn't need to because of they were salvos going for track ships were getting too close. So yeah, they didn't fire on the Heckbees because I just wasn't fast enough on the
AMMs
I didn't think anything got through.
AMMs just feel bad recently. I don't know why. It looks like they always fire too early for some reason. I don't know why.
Interesting. Yeah, I did see some AMMs salvos that game out of range before they hit.
Yeah, I've been running point and then just automatic firing AMMs via Z Prio because otherwise they just waste all of them. It does come with the issue of me firing way too many AMMs at times because the PD controller also tries to fire them.
Right.
We also, like, on the Blood Moon game as well, like, we said we were going to be doing a low push, but you have to, like, really commit to that, and we didn't do that.
Yeah.
Like, all our frontline assets were not pushing as hard as they should have into E, and, like, because you have to use momentum. Like, that's, once you have momentum, you need to try to, like, continue doing it. Like, element of surprise, like, you guys were not prepared for a low push, but we just didn't capitalize on the fact that you weren't prepared for it at all. Like, you had most of your assets high B pushing C. We would have been able to take a 3-cap EDA, but it's, like, we just, like, didn't commit to that fast enough. Like, there was a lot of time for the triplet liners to come down from that rock between E and B to prevent the E cap. There was a lot of things that went wrong there. Like, we just didn't play very well.
Yeah,
so I think that's kind of what we noticed too.
It would be
spectators.
fun to do this again, but if we're playing a little bit better, you know. I enjoyed this. I want to do it again.
To be honest, I just cannot play ANS fleets. I mean, the first one was kind of a throw pick because I was trying to cheese the soft kill minigame by making it as hard as possible, and then it didn't work. And then the third game, it turns out I'm not very good at beam DDs. Probably because I don't play them, ever.
What happened on that match with your beam DDs was mostly that we had sensors on them. They didn't have sensors on us.
Yeah.
And so, right, you
Yeah.
didn't have any sensor coverage. BMDDs need sensor coverage. If you don't have sensor coverage, BMDDs lose.
Right. Yeah, Snipes was just able to identify them as priority targets and just kept removing them from the game.
Yes. And like even when they did get a chance to fire, we were already facing them, and so we could just out DPS them.
If I had
right,
because that would have been a help.
CWAX were just 2 spy frigates.
Yeah. I don't know. This was, I mean, the odds were kind of stacked against us. Like, I basically only play caps. The rest just doesn't really work in my head. I don't know. We all have like people who only really specifically play a couple things, and then we're up against like the best players in the whole game.
Well, I mean, you guys won the second game. So.
Yeah,
you guys did really good. Yeah, you guys did really good the second round, by the way.
Do not worry. There's no such thing as the best players in the game. Unless, of course, you're talking about CPU hard, some of the best players that
Let's
we've
go,
ever had.
CPU hard! Let's go! Fire more S3 HEKP missiles into tugboats.
It is worth saying that, like, skill in this game is largely about which team makes the least mistakes, more so than it is anything else. Because, like, you can do some things really well, but if you're, like, consistently making mistakes as a team altogether as well, like, you're gonna lose the game a lot easier in that respect. Like like skill is a weird metric for this game. I don't know. It's just like you can have really good players and then they can fuck up and then it's like they just lose. So
it's also a team game, and if they don't play well together, then that's another big part of it. If teammates are not able to actually synergize well with each other, then
I mean,
they're gonna lose.
Like, Mouse is our substitute, but Mouse has played way more than Firestorm. Like, I don't know, I've scrimmed with Firestorm once, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I think, but our biggest mistake was picking things we were not familiar with and not bringing the right counter to OSP, because I think OSP has an asymmetric advantage over ANS. I think they can just pick a strategy and roll with it, and ANS has to bring the right counter or basically die.
First match we brought like fleets we're decently familiar with, but we just didn't play very well and got outplayed. The second match we all brought fleets we liked, and we won. And then the third fleet, like, Oshel shoved double pit balls in.
Why did you listen to him?
I don't know.
Yeah, the double. Fairness, I don't think there was a cap fleet you could have brought there that would have won that. So
yeah, this is kind of the problem. Like, this is what I was saying too. Like, with that cap fleet that I was playing, like, you need missiles to beat that. You cannot fight that with another cap fleet. I don't actually think it's possible, which is a bit annoying. But like, I don't know. Like, it's two liners. Yeah, I posted it around here before, but it's kind of fucked actually. Like, just how much meat you have. It's not even got very high DPS, but it's like it just dies really slow. Every single ship is really tanky.
Yeah. In the second match, were my tugs doing anything at all? I don't know. Like, the tugs at A, I felt like A was a bit too open for them, and then like they were getting slowly murdered by the missiles because I couldn't pay attention to everything.
I posted it in event stage. I mean, I missed a fuckload of missiles on your tugs. Like, there were so many strikes that I fired at them that just didn't hit. I can't really speak for Xenophon's cat fleet, but it did look like he won that fight, generally speaking, anyways. So, I mean, tugs are just, like, the value is crazy. Like, they die pretty slowly. You can get them really cheap. C-30s are also, like, they're one of the weapons that don't really require any buffing modules to just be good. So, same with T-20, but C-30s, like, you look at the stats on a C-30, and it's, like, higher fire rate, better mount efficiency, higher HP. It's just like all around probably one of the best weapons
Oh
in the
yeah,
game.
it has double the fire rate of a
Of two T20s.
T20.
Yeah.